chatbot, my new demo chatbot. Okay, you can rename it, and you can use the channel on which you want to deploy. So there are many options, but there is a web, Facebook, Google Home, Slack, Workplace, Smooch, which is now Zendesk Sunshine, Twilio Voice for that's for call bots. So if you want to put a chatbot on the phone, Skype, Teams, business messages, WhatsApp, and API. API is a bit particular. If you want to have it like to build your own interface, your own front end, you might need this one. But so in most use cases, it's going to be, so for example, web live chat. So we'll start with this one. As you can see, there are a few templates. Okay, so we will start with a template, but we made a list of there are about 50 templates. You should have a look at them, because that's a good way to start and to see what's available on the platform. And it's better not to start from a blank page in order to get a whole grasp of how the platform is working. So let's start with a simple live chat. Okay. So when you choose a template, okay, they help you. We help you set the template up by asking you a few questions, so that you can. Here it's asking me the name of the company, so Ideta, and the email where I should get the support. So this is my email. Okay, so you can send me an email now. And now that the chatbot is ready, we can have a look at it. And basically, when you arrive on the chatbot, as you can see, you arrive on this map. Okay, the way this map works is quite simple. Basically, it shows the current bubble. Okay, so this is the starting bubble, and where you can go from there. Okay, so there are different options. So either you can click on it. So that's question one. Let's stick to English or en français. That's question two. When you hover over the button, it gets blue to show where it's being linked. Okay. And the other option is to say, okay, here nothing's activated, but it's if the user says something. If the user says something, you can use. You can say and decide what to do. So when you click on an option, so we'll stick with the English version, you can see, okay, this is my current question. So I can say something here, and I can, the information will be stored. I can store the input, and I can see the bubble above. So this is always the current bubble, the bubble, the message. So you can have below and the message above. And you can here you can store the input. So there it will open a model view where you can say, okay, I want to store the data in this variable. So this is already written, so you can choose one, and then where do I go? Okay, and if you click on these little signs, it redirects you directly to the where you want to go. So I'm here. What is your question? And as you can see before, this is where you come from. What is your question? This is the current bubble. Do you have another question? And these are the options, yes or no, and what happens to the next level. Okay. Here you can have an overview of the bot. So this is more like the graph view, like how is it working. So here you have the arrows that are either pointing out or pointing in a bubble. And so you can see, okay, this is the start bubble, and I can go to, as we saw before, French welcome. So you have like on the left hand side, you have the French side, and here you have the English side with questions in English and so on. Okay, that way you can have a look at everything. So let's go back to the editor and let's have a look at the map. As you can see, so this is the editor, and the way you can, if you want to change, for example, the way to say welcome, here you use this button to say, okay, I want to change the sentence, and here you can type my changes, for example. You can save, and when you save, it appears in the middle, and you can use it. So this was a rough overview of the editor section. So I'll get back to see if you have any questions. Alors, so let me have a look at the questions. I've been there before. I'm not. Okay. I'm not sure what it's referring to, but if you have more details, I can maybe answer them. And will we have access to replay? Yes, you can. We will organize that. I'm registering the webinar, so we'll do that. Why is enterprise highlighted? I get stuck there. So I guess you're mentioning this, okay? So this is a variable, okay? A variable. I don't know if you remember, but at the beginning I told you. So there was the small chatbot that asked me about the company name and the email I should send information to. So these informations are stored into a variable. So a variable can be replaced by multiple values. So this can be Ideta, it can be your company, and it can be anything else. So if you want to use it, so this is the value of enterprise is up. So you can do that, and then here you can select data key and write, for example, you select bot data keys and you say enterprise. Okay. So this is a variable, and we're going to have a look. I'm going to jump to test. We'll get back there. But the way it appears is I said it was iData. So now iData replaced enterprise because it's a variable. Okay. And the way where you can have a look at the value of your variables, it's in the data manager, and it's in bot data keys. That's the blue, dark blue ones. They're available for the whole chatbot. So here, if you click on it, you can see there is the value iData that we set at the beginning. And here in Expeditor email, you can see contact at ideta.io and support agent mail, the one I set up in the bot, Yanis at ideta.io. Okay, so if you answer the questions from the chatbot, we can arrange. You will have your own values here. Okay, I hope that's clear. Um, uh, is that I hope that's clear. So let me know. So there are a few questions. The first question is the demo is not working. So if there is an issue that you want to solve, there is a button, normally book a meeting, at the top of the screen. So for special issues that you may have encountered, this is probably the best way to have a one-on-one and discuss the issue you've met. Okay. So if I go to another bot, see, he asked me how can I delete uh, multiple bubbles. So for example, in the example, we have an example for live chat just without the French, but the best way if you want to delete things is if you go to inside, for example, from inside the bubble, you can see like in the editor section here, you can select multiple options, multiple bubbles, and then you have the remove button. Okay, and this tells you like you can delete all the options, all the bubbles that were selected. Okay, that's the simplest way to do it. So apparently I won't be able to show the sign in button, but I see that Brie, you have many questions and many. Maybe we can arrange one-on-one where I can do that and answer your questions. So one of your questions is, can we take orders via the bot without having to bring them back to the website? Yes, you can do that. You can. I don't know exactly what you mean by take the orders. It's like, are you requesting payment? Do you need people to pay for something? In that case, we have the Stripe bubble that can that can trigger a payment. So maybe I can have more detailed about that. Is it possible to develop the English branch and then copy it to make the French branch without having to do each step manually? Yes, this is possible. It's a bit the same way as I showed in the editor for the deletion. You can select multiple and then you can click duplicate. And if you click duplicate, it will duplicate the, for example, if you want to do French to, I don't know, another language, Russian, Spanish, whatever, Portuguese, you can take the English branch, take the questions you want, then click duplicate, and then it will do the job. Okay, for Google and Facebook logins. Okay, so thank you, Glenn, for sharing that. There is actually, so the answer is in the forum. So it seems I have like issues with my network and haven't been able to show it to you, but we have actually this article that's working for you. So and apparently Sharon is confirming that it's working on her website. So that's good to know. If you're having any issues, like any bug or improvements that you'd like to have, we're very open to that. So do not hesitate to send us an email so that we can work on it. So that was for the first section, which is the editor. Okay, what can be interesting on top of that about the editor, it's if you want, there are like multiple types of bubble, so you can change them. Okay, so if you have, for example, a very simple, this one, I finally got created, so that's good. So I will be able to show it to you. So that's a button, and you can use login. And here you can select the service you want to connect to. And the way to connect it, it's in the settings. So it requests you need to provide your keys, your authentication services, Google. There is client ID, client secret, and this one you get from the forum link Glenn shared with you, so you can have a look at how to get this information from the forum article, so forum.ideta.io. And once you've accepted this one, you can update the social sign-in by bubble by saying you can. So here it is. Here you will be able to say, okay, this button I turn it into a social sign-in. So we have Google and we have Facebook at the moment. Let us know what social sign-in is interesting and important to you, and we will consider adding it to the roadmap depending on the availabilities, effort, and these kind of things. So that's good that we managed to do it. So as I showed you here, you can change the type of the bubble. And here, what you can do is also say, as we saw in the map, the user says section. So that's you can also do it in the editor. So that's when you want the user to maybe type something. So for example, oh, what is your email? And you want them to store this information. So you can do it here in the map, but you can also do it here in the editor by clicking store input. You can select you can write here and you can select the data key. So you can create a conversation. So for example, client email. So this one already existed. And you can say, okay, where am I going from there? So either none. So I want the conversations to stop. I do not recommend it, but you can do that. Or you can send to any other bubbles that you want to create. You can also create one here. Okay. That's the easiest way to do it. And then when you're okay, you can leave so I'm going to choose none for the moment and check the format. So if you want to check the format, you have multiple options: email, phone, date, etc. So and you can have also custom. Custom is a regex. So if you need that, and if it doesn't match the format that you set, you can also choose where to go. So this is an error path. So you can ask the information again, for example, and so on. Okay. So this is how you can do things here. And we also have like analyze input. So analyze input, it's very simple. It's there are three options. The first is so the user, for example, you ask him, what can I do for you? So this is a very open question. And to manage that, you have multiple options. So the first is just detect keywords. So for example, he said support, he said something. So you, that, like there are the keywords that you want to trigger on, so that you can manage the conversation based on that. So this is very simple. You type your trigger word and you choose where to go based on this trigger, always in the same list. So this is the list of your bubbles that you created. If the bubble does not exist yet, you can click on the add button. Okay, so that's the first option. The second option, that's what Ideta is interesting also for. This is natural language processing. So you can connect to Dialogflow, for example. And if you connect to Dialogflow, so if you go there up, it leads me to the settings. Okay, I can connect my account. I can use a Dialogflow login, for example, and I will connect. Okay, and you will need a project ID. Okay, and to get a project ID, you will need to go to Dialogflow. You need to make sure that this is the same agent as the one you created. For example, I need to change my account. Okay, so you need to sign up with the same account on both, on Ideta and Dialogflow. That's just in case you have multiple agents. Okay, and here you can get the project ID. Okay, and this project ID, you can type it here. And when you do that, you're connected to Dialogflow, and you can use natural language processing. Okay, and in order to do that, the best way to do it, so we'll have a look at AI. And so here is AI, the AI part. We'll do a quick. I'll go back quickly to the questions to see if there are questions at the moment about that. Okay, there's no new question at the moment, so I will keep going on. Do not hesitate to ask questions. So this is a big parenthesis about AI and how to use AI. So the way it works, so we created. We connected our agent in AI accounts, okay? And we will, since this is and to go a bit faster, we will import the already existing agent from Dialogflow into our service. So I'm not sure this agent is actually a recent one, but we'll try. So this tells you, okay, the import, what's going to happen, we are going to import 12 intents. This will add 127 examples phrases. So you can click OK. So you have before you import or export, you can validate what you're doing and make sure you don't make a huge mistake like deleting everything or things like that. So once you click on import, when it works, you see it was empty. Now you have your entities, and for each one of your, you have your intents, and for each of your intents, you have your example phrases. Okay. So this is going to prove very useful because once you do that, we can go back to the edit section I was mentioning. And so we go back to the user says section. And if we analyze input, this is the same module. So I can say, okay, here I have Dialogflow connected, and I can add a rule for my natural language processing. So I'm going to add an intent. And it's very simple. So the idea is very simple. So if I detect, a problem, for example, okay, then I'll go to one bubble, to this bubble. So it seems to be, yeah. So, and I'm going to go to this bubble, okay, to the welcome bubble. So it doesn't make sense, but it's just so that you see how you can make things work. So I'm gonna. So once you do that, yeah, give me a second. So I'm gonna do that. Check the questions. Maybe, no, still no questions. So when I go there, so I have analyze inputs, detect intents, and I'm gonna add my intent here. So if I have like, as I said, if I have a problem, I will go to this bubble, and I will validate. Okay. So basically, every time I will be using this intent about a problem, this will redirect me to this bubble. And this is how natural language processing works. Basically, in AI, you set example phrases. So, for example, this one we had was problem. Okay, problem. So I can't log in. Technical issue, not working. I have a problem. I have a problem. It's not working. These are typical example phrases. So questions your user could be asking your chatbot and that you want to automate. And based on these example phrases, Dialogflow will be able to interpret more. You don't have to enter all possible sentences or that your user may be using. You just have to enter a few. So we recommend 10 to 15. So this one, for example, has 10, so that Dialogflow can actually manage them and expand from the example you gave him. And based on that, you can answer the open questions from your customers. So you don't have to do only clicks on button. You can open your chatbot with what can I do for you, for example. And we have an example of that. So on we'll share that with you at the end of this webinar. We have, for example, a WhatsApp bot. On this WhatsApp bot on WhatsApp, you can have buttons, and since you can have buttons, it's very interesting to have a natural language processing because you can manage the conversation more easily. Okay, so let me check. Still no questions on the chat. Okay, so once you've done that, so basically the other things you need, the other things are you need to know about AI. So there you can set AI like on the whole bot. You don't have to do it bubble per bubble. You can also set up it here in AI usage. You can activate here, and it's going to be used all like for the whole bot. So for example, if I detect problem, I will always send to FR welcome. Okay, I will keep this one. Okay, let's make it. Yeah, let's keep it this one. And that way you can have you can parameter like multiple intents around your chatbot so that you can switch from one topic to the other no matter where you are in your chatbot, and it remains always active, so you can always redirect users based on that. One important section now is going to be the testing, because this we had a look at it a little bit. So this is a place where you can test what's happening into your chatbots. So you can see there are different options. So you can test the flow. So where I have a problem. Okay, and so this way, do you have another question? Yes or no? No. And got it. We'll get back to you by email. What is your email address? Yanis@ideta.io. And so I'll add a test. Okay. And so you see like what's happening. So the variables appear. You can click here to see the conversation evolving. Okay. Yanis plus test at ideta.io. And here, if I say my name, Yanis, it's going to appear here as first name. Okay. And here I will get an email. So here you may wonder, for example, why here it did not trigger the problem section. Okay. Because here, for example, here it should trigger it. Hopefully, so you see it triggered the French area of the section. The reason it didn't trigger it here is here we have how do you say a user says, which is all about storing the data. So whatever the user says, I want to go to the next step. So I stored the information in question one, and I went there, and there was no analysis requested. So this was a special case. So, okay. And so then if we go back to tests, you can see the information was stored here in question one. I have a problem. Okay, so that we can use it later. And this is exactly what we've been doing because we are using this variable to send an email to the user. And the way we do that is very simple. So you see this the lightning you have on the bubbles. It shows when something is happening in the background. So let's have a look at it. What we're doing here is email confirmation client. So basically, that's where you can send an email. So we click on arrive on the bubble. So this means when I get to this end message. Okay, so let's do it in English. When I get there, I send an email, and in this email, I'm using question enterprise. So these are the variables we mentioned: client email, client expeditor, and so on. And so that's for the clients, and for us, as the company that asked the question, you have the content of question one and question two. So that's the way you can. So in here you can write your in the body of your email. You can use variables, emojis, whatever, a font, and so on. So this can be very. You have a lots of opportunities. Is everything clear about background actions? Okay. So we have a question about how do you connect to a live human? Okay, so how to do that? It's quite simple. Like humans are basically always connected. They have a view of the platform, and so if you arrive to this section, if you go to this section, which is the chat section, here you can see that you have like the conversation I just had in the testing area. Here is the sandbox. Okay, so this is testing. And the way to intervene is very simple. You have two options. So either you select a message, a message you have already chosen. So for example, question one in English. Okay, what is your question? So and then this gets sent. Okay, and the other option is just you get into the message. So hello. And when you do that, as you do that, you can see there is a message that appears so that you are currently answering to this user and the bot is disabled. So from this moment on, you're in the live chat mode. You can answer the customer can answer you, and there is no bot that can intervene in the conversation. To reactivate the bot, so either you click on the message or you send a bubble. So you can do that and send him back to, for example, to the main menu. Okay, I hope it answered your question. Is it possible to export the design of a chatbot to add it to another account and not have to create it again? That's a great question. It's not a feature. It's not a feature we have. Like you cannot share the design of your chatbot. For those who are asking themselves where you can do the design, that was the next section. So I'll do that right now. But no, you can't, Sally, you can't export it. If this is something you need, we could add it to the roadmap. Yeah, I mean, I will, and maybe if it gets upvoted, we will prioritize it. So thanks for the feedback and the feature request. We'll see what we can do about that. So in the publish section, so for example, in the web, that was what Luis mentions, you can have like, you can get your link so that you have it in full screen, so you can build iframe based on that and so on. And here you have examples on how you can integrate it on multiple third parties website like WordPress, Shopify, Webflow, and so on. So you can have more details about how to do it specifically. if your website is not there, either you go to other, or maybe you can ask a question to the support, so that we can maybe help you around, and maybe expand this list of details and information. So for about design personalization, so as you can see on this one, you have multiple options. You can change, you have a switch, like to get most of the design, because you have multiple options. You have the icons, you have the menu, and it can be a bit boring to just select one color. So you have this selector that can let you decide, okay, this is my color, you can type it here or whatever. And so you change it for everywhere, okay? So you can change the color of the bubbles, of the chat window. You can change, the idea is just to click on an element, okay, and you can change the color. So this is going to be very, very, very ugly, but at least we'll see, we'll see that that we can do it. Okay, I'll play. So I change the color on this one. I'm gonna choose something up, green, red. Okay, so you can. This is not very nice. I shouldn't have done that. Up, play. So you can change the color. You can have like the same thing. You can change the color for the user. I think you understood the way it works. And let me do and like that. You can change authorized attachments, or no. You can send the appearance of your button, of the sending button here, depending on your what you like more. You can add a message. So for example, you can do it like that and have the send button, a send message, to make it clearer. So there are multiple options to design your website. You can have a menu, like to say, okay, welcome, before people get to start. You can change the size and so on. So many personalization option, the width and height of your pop-up, as well as the position on the screen. All these things you can customize. And when you are ready with it, you can test it and see it in preview test my integration, and you can see what we've done appear here. You have the main menu, you can click on it, you see your bubble, you see your design, you see what's going on. Okay, so that's good. Let me get back to the questions. Is it possible? I sent an email to gmail.com and yahoo.com. With Gmail it works, however it doesn't work with Yahoo. It's not because you have two SMTP as the protocol. This is rather a technical question, Jacques. I think it would be better if you sent an email to the support, or book a meeting with me, so that we can have a look at what it's not, at why it's not working. Most of the time when it's not working, sometimes it's just in the spam folder. So maybe you can check that, because you need to. I mean, this is something we could discuss, but so to prevent being into the spam folder, there are a few things to do, and it's maybe not the scope of this conversation. So Luis asked, is the customization done for each chat? I mean, if I manage several brands, can I customize each chat with its own logo? Yes, you can. Like, customization is for each chat. So you can, what you have here, for example, design personalization, you can have in the chat window, you can log here, and you can change the logo of your chatbot here. You can click here and change the logo of the avatar. You can remove the powered by Ideta by going to remove the white label, which is here. So this is for tier 3 white level. So this is tier 3, starting tier 3, and yeah, and that's it. To answer your question, so you can absolutely personalize with your own logo. That's with every brand's logo. That's definitely possible. And on top of I wanted to say something about that, but Yeah, so customization basically is very, there are many options, especially on the web. And then you can have a menu, and you can do data transfers, like for example, to get cookies, variables, local storage. There are more information about that. This goes beyond the scope of this webinar, but you have more questions about that in the form. We have already explained how you can do that in the form, so you can find information if that's something that you would like to do. This can be very practical. For example, if you want to check whether or not a customer is already logged in on the website, you can activate a different web chat based on that. That's something that's doable. You can read parameters in the URL and pass data via the URL and so on. You can customize the share link, so that you have a different display depending on with the with the URL you are sharing here. So these are options, and that's it. I mean, then we won't go through all the, except if you want some details. For example, I don't know if you have like specific channels where you want to have more information about, but basically Facebook, you have to connect and follow the steps. For Twilio Voice, so that is call bots, and for WhatsApp, you need to have here it is. For WhatsApp, you need to have a Twilio account. That's we use Twilio to connect to the call bots and to activate WhatsApp. We have a demo of that, this bot. This is our demo bot on WhatsApp, so you can have a look at it. We'll send it to you. So it can be interesting. And then you can have, that's the last part, that's analytics. So that's to see how many conversations you had on the different channels. So you can apply filters, and you can see, okay, we had 4 conversations on WhatsApp, 1 on the web, 1 on Sandbox, and so on. You can change the date. You can change whether you want it weekly or daily, and so on, depending on how you want to build your statistics. And you also have the different options, so active conversations, message per conversations, so you can have how well your bot is working. So you have the main analytics. And I didn't tell you that, but basically, so if you are requesting, for example, an email, you will have the information here. So here's the intent that was triggered. So this is a small talk, this is small talk, and so on. So different small talk options, but this could have been the email. So how many customers do I get the email? How many emails do I get from my customers? How many phone numbers? How many customers get to the point where they accept to be called back? And this is all with variables. All the variables that you create in the data manager, you can monitor them to build your funnel and follow your analytics. So I'll finish. So I'll get back to the question. Is it possible to export the analytics to integrate in an external dashboard? Yes, so this is something you can. So there are. I'll still answer your question. So you are right to mention this button, which is the export my data to CSV. Okay, so you'll get a CSV via email, so you can integrate it. But we also have an API that you can find on Postman. So we have Postman up. If you go to Postman, and you also have the manual, our own manual, you can get from the chatbot, but this one is easier to test. So we have a public API. I think it's this one. Yeah, give us a second. And this tells you everything you need to know about these are the different APIs you can have. So if you want to build an external dashboard more easily, you can get conversation details. You can have the count of conversations, what's in the conversation with all the variables and the way it works. And the only thing you need to know about that and use, basically, it's you will need the bot ID and the, the token. And you will get that here in the editor. So if you go to settings, in general, you have the bot ID and the secret key. And these two elements help you get the information you need to use the API. So this is what you're going to need in order to make it work. And then you can get the information via API. So I hope that answers your question. So on the last part, so from all we reviewed, we saw there is this onboarding section. So this tells you, like, if you forget how to test, how to build, how to see things. So this is a checklist on what you need to know. So where to change the design of your chatbot, where to build stuff, how to test your chatbot, how to publish your chatbot, and so on. You have a lot of information here. And if you need more resources, there is also the forum. There are already many questions on it. So forum.ideta.io, as you can see here, with many topics, how to send an email notification, how to trigger an alert, and so on. So we tend to answer to support questions as much as possible with forum answers, in order to stay consistent and up to date. So this is a good place to start. We also have our YouTube channel. If you want, so if you type Ideta on YouTube, you will see we have videos. Some are more recent than others, but we have the 7 days course, which is a very good way to start and to get details about all what we saw today. So if you need to get back to it, you will have the same information that we covered today in this 7 days course. So when we'll send you the recording of the webinar, we'll also send the 7 days course, which is probably a better version of what we saw today, maybe. Except for the question part. So I guess that's it in terms of seeing how the platform works. I don't know if you have questions yet. Okay, so we have a question. Do you have an integration with WooCommerce? At the moment, I think we don't have one, but since it's based on WordPress, what we have is we have a WordPress plugin. So maybe you can ask me the question on the support. So you can ask support@ideta.io, and we'll investigate that a bit further. And maybe Glenn from customer support will note your question, and we'll get back to you on that about how to do things. I think we have, if I remember correctly, in the publish section. No, we don't have it here. So maybe we don't have an explanation. But normally, if I'm correct about WooCommerce, it's based on WordPress. And when it comes to WordPress, we have a plugin. So if you WordPress plugin Ideta, you see we're here, and this helps you integrate your plugin into WordPress. So maybe I'm wrong, and it doesn't work that way, but normally it's based on that. So we went a bit beyond the 30 minutes scope of this webinar, so but which is cool because we had many questions, and I hope I answered your question. I will just remind you, like, so if you have questions now, that's you can still shoot them. I remind you there is a book a meeting button if you want to have a one-on-one session. That would be very interesting to maybe the easiest way for us to solve particular issues, like Jacques asked us before about Yahoo and so on. So if you have detailed questions, do not hesitate to book a meeting. If you have general questions, contact the support. We'll answer them with either videos, the forum, or specific content that will craft for you in order to answer. And before we leave, I will also ask you, if that's possible, to leave a review on AppSumo, because this helps more Sumolings discover about the offer and get the deal. And the more there are people on the platform, the more resources we'll have to make those software better and solve the few glitches that you may have seen today, in order to make it as good as possible in the future, and to bring the roadmap as far as possible, as quickly as possible. So it will be very nice if you could write a review. So I'll put the link here, just in case you have if you have the time and opportunity to do it. That would be very, very, very nice to do so, in order to help us bring the software to the next level, and therefore make the most of your lead. We have a questions from Luis. Sometimes the bots become too big. Is there a way to work them in subchats? So what we have, I'm not sure what you mean by subchats, but what we have are categories. So here, so you can create a category here, and this will create this kind of things where you can organize your bubbles in. And so, for example, if you zoom out and you have a big bot with too many options, the thing you can do is filter, and it will only show the part of the bot that's been filtered. So your categories can be filtered to only display the filtered part. But I don't know if that's what you meant, but that's what we have at the moment. Okay, good. Okay, so I'm gonna end this webinar, if that's okay with you. If you don't have a last question, do not hesitate to book a meeting with me, or to contact us on the support. And please leave a review on AppSumo so that we can go further. Thank you for your time, and see you soon.